In previous sessions, we discussed use of microorganisms in chemical production, enzyme production, bioactive molecule production. Along with that, how microbes are going to treat sewage water. The fifth advantage of microbes is microbes in production of biogas. It's also one of the important 5-mark question in your theory examination. Dear students, biogas is, as the name indicates, bio means living, a gas generated due to activity of microorganisms. We can conclude in the simple way. The biogas, it is commonly called gobar gas also, is a small scaled industry in agriculture related families. The biogas is methane rich gas, mainly methane. Along with that, it also contains carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide. Then how biogas is produced? Methane, predominantly methane rich biogas is produced due to anaerobic breakdown. Anaerobic breakdown means in the absence of oxygen, methane gas is produced. Then, which is the substrate responsible for yielding that methane rich biogas? Methane rich biogas is produced due to anaerobic activity of microbes, particularly bacteria, on the substrate like cellulose. When you provide cellulosic materials with the anaerobic microorganisms, particularly bacteria, they evolve biogas which is rich in methane. Along with that, it also contains carbon dioxide and H2S. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಈ ಬಯೋಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅನೆರೋಬಿಕಲಿ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್. ಯಾವ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಏನು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್. The biogas, as I said, it is produced anaerobically due to the activity of microorganisms, especially bacteria, named as methanogens. So what are methanogens? These methanogens are anaerobic bacteria, especially one example I will give, methanobacterium. Methanobacterium is one such example under the category of methanogens which produce methane gas by anaerobic breakdown. On which substrate? The methanogens act anaerobically on cellulosic materials, especially cellulose. That means the plant cell wall which contains cellulose. That cell wall of plant, when digest anaerobically by the activity of these methanogens, particularly methanobacterium, it evolves the carbon dioxide, but mainly methane. Methane, carbon dioxide, along with that it also yields hydrogen sulfide. So anaerobic breakdown of cellulosic material by the activity of methanogens or methanobacterium is named as biogas. Then where we find these methanogens? Methanogens which you studied in your first PUC also, these are the archaebacteria, primitive bacteria present in marshy areas, damp areas where there is absence of oxygen. Along with that, these bacteria are also present in the stomach of cattle. The students, cattle come under the category of ruminant. So what are ruminants? A ruminant, especially organisms have 4 chambers in the stomach. Actually, we have after esophagus only one stomach that may be divided into cardiac stomach, fundic stomach, pyloric stomach, like that 3 regions. But in case of these ruminants, they have 4 chambers in the stomach. The chambers may be like, it may be chamber like rumen. One chamber is rumen, which is important here. Along with that, omasum, chamber like omasum, abomasum, and reticulum. So these are 4 chambers of stomach in ruminant organisms, especially cow. Among these 4 chambers, the chamber rumen is completely anaerobic, and this chamber also contains the methanogenic bacteria, particularly methanogens. So rumen is a chamber which store the cellulose. When the cattle eat cellulose rich plant materials from esophagus, these food materials stored in the chamber rumen, where the rumen which contains cellulose undergo conversion, digestion with the help of these methanogenic bacteria. So what is the use of methanogens in stomach of cattle? You have to answer like this. They helps in digestion of cellulose in the chamber called rumen. So hence, after digestion, undigested waste material of cow named as cow dung. This cow dung is containing partially cellulose, the undigested waste. Hence, if cow dung which contain undigested waste, particularly cellulose, that also contain the bacteria methanogens or methanobacterium. Hence, one of the good source for methanogenic bacteria is cow dung, which contain the methanogenic bacteria. In biogas production, we are using this cow dung as a substrate. Is it clear? So cow dung we are using as a substrate which contain undigested cellulose. Along with that, it also contains bacteria methanogens. When you provide anaerobic condition for this cow dung, methanogens under anaerobic condition, it evolve the biogas. For this condition, we need to construct a biogas tank. So you may ask a question to draw biogas tank for 3 to 5 mark. So the diagram will be like this, or you may ask to write along with the diagram complete the production of biogas for 5 mark also. Then what is the structure of biogas tank? As I said, biogas production mainly due to anaerobic activities. So first criteria, you have to construct a tank which is completely anaerobic. So for that purpose, so below the soil, say consider this is the region of soil, this is ground level. Below the ground, you have to construct a tank below the soil, nearly 10 to 15 feet deep tank, a concrete tank named as digester. So this digester constructed below the soil, nearly 10 to 15 feet, is a chamber which providing anaerobic condition. Here the cow dung with methanogenic bacteria are present which evolve the methane gas. So for that purpose, this digester connected with 2 chambers, 2 tanks. So one tank, it is named as inlet tank, and another tank may be outlet tank. Okay, in inlet tank, what is the purpose of this tank? inlet tank is a tank where we are going to mix the cow dung with water. It may be proportionately almost 1:1 ratio, but not exactly. You have to mix the cow dung with water to prepare a slurry or a thick syrup like kind of structure. That dung with water is mixed in this inlet tank, then it passes through a pipe into the digester. Remember, digester is a chamber which is maintaining anaerobic condition. You may ask, if we construct a chamber below the soil openly, how it will become anaerobic, right? For that purpose, this digester covered above in its surface by a structure called gas holder. Gas holder or gas drum is a fiber material which covers the digester tank on its surface. For that purpose, the tank is completely maintaining anaerobic condition. Is it clear? So this gas holder which covers the digester tank always keeps rising. Keeps rising means ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಯಾವಾಗ? When it keeps rising, when the anaerobic breakdown of cellulose inside the tank occurs, methane gas is evolved. Whenever the gas is going to be produced, the gas holder keeps on rising. Okay? So hagadre, when we mix the dung with water here, it passes to the digester. The cow dung which contains cellulose along with methanogens. The methanogens break down the cellulose, thereby evolve biogas which particularly containing methane. Whenever methane is going to be produced, the gas holder keeps on rising. So that indicates evolution of biogas. After this anaerobic breakdown, gas is evolved through that drum, through that gas holder. It has a pipe with a regulator, so that whenever the gas is produced, through this pipe gas is supplied to the house for lighting purpose, but mainly for cooking. For cooking purpose, we are using this biogas or gobar gas. After this breakdown, after the evolution of methane rich biogas, the waste material here in the digester we can take out from the digester, and those waste, that spent waste, spent andre ಉಳಿದಿರೋದು, ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಉಳಿದಿರೋದು, that spent waste is called spent slurry. Slurry means it is a material formed due to mixing of cow dung with the water. After its usage, the spent slurry is collected in the outlet, which can also be used as a manure. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಬಯೋಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು, ಬಯೋಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, that gas is used for domestic purpose. Along with that, the remaining of the breakdown product, that is cellulosic material, after the evolution of methane gas, that spent slurry is used as a manure for agriculture land. Is it clear? So you have to explain the construction of tank with a neat label diagram. The diagram must carry labelings like digester, dung with water, slurry, gas, gas holder, methane, CH4, carbon dioxide plus other gases. No need to mention H2S in the diagram, other gases. So then how to explain this? First you have to mention what is biogas. Biogas is a mixture of gas, mainly methane, produced by the anaerobic breakdown of cellulosic material using methanogens, particularly methanogenic bacteria. Then you have to write a biogas tank consisting of deep concrete tank named as digester, which is covered by a gas holder, a drum called gas holder. The digester connected with two tanks, inlet and outlet. In inlet tank, we have to mix cow dung with water, and in outlet, the spent slurry, the spent slurry is used as a manure for agriculture purpose. When methane gas is produced in the digester, the gas holder keeps on rising, and that gas is connected to the house through pipe, which is used for domestic purpose, cooking purpose. You have to explain this point. Is it clear? So, neat label diagram with correct explanation. So, this is about the biogas production. You may ask 3 1-mark question also. What is biogas? First question. Secondly, it may be name the organisms, name the microbe which yield biogas. It may be methanogens like methanogenic bacteria, you have to write. What is the composition of biogas? You have to mention mainly methane. Along with that, it also contains carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, okay, and also where we find methanogens are also present in the rumen, a chamber of stomach in cattle. What is the use of methanogens to a cattle? Cattle advantage namage biogas yield agutte. What is the use of that methanogen for a cattle? So for cattle, methanogen is used for digestion of cellulose. You have to write like this. These are some expected 1-mark question, and for 5 mark you may ask to write diagram with neat explanation. Let's move on to 6th advantage of microbe. The 6th advantage of microbe is microbes as biocontrol agents. Microbes as biocontrol agents. So here also you can guess what is the concept here. Biogas means a gas produced due to evolution of some gases, or a gas which contain mixture of gases produced by the activity of microbes, as I said earlier. Biocontrol, use of living organisms, particularly microbes, controlling agents. What are the agents which affects cropland, crop? So dear students, lot of insects act as pest. You may heard the name pest. Pest means any insect, if it damages, if it destroys crop, then we can name that is a pest. So in order to control pest, a farmer try to use lot of varieties of chemical pesticides, right? So what happens if we use chemical pesticides? Let me discuss first. What happens if a farmer used, or if a farmer uses chemical pesticides? You should remember the reason for this question. What happens if a farmer use chemical fertilizer to control these pests? Dear students, when we use chemical fertilizers or chemical pesticides which we sprayed on the plant to control the attack of pest, those chemical pesticides were accepted by the plant. So along with nutrients present in the soil, the microbes or the plant, they also capture these pesticides. When the pesticides enter inside the plant, they stored in their product, food product. If a grass consumes that pesticide, let us consider that pesticide which is present inside the grass consumed by a grasshopper. Hope you heard food chain. Food chain ಕೇಳಿದಿರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಏನು ಹಾಗಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಗ್ರಾಸನ್ನು ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಹಾಪರ್ ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಹಾಪರ್ ಈಟನ್ ಬೈ say next category, frog or some other organisms eat. Then that may be eaten by birds, bird may be eaten by animals, like that. So andre finally grasshopper, frog ಅಥವಾ any other organisms, consumers, producer ಇಂದ consumer ಕೇಳಿದಿರಲ್ವ ಟರ್ಮನ್ನು. ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ when the pesticides accumulated, if animal consume that plant product along with food, the chemicals also transfer to them. In each level, each consumer level, the pesticide remain either constant or it may increased, so that it finally affects the last organism which eat many other organisms which was feeded by that pesticide containing plant. ಸೊ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. DDTಯನ್ನು ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಡೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಆ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡಿಗೆ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನು ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು? ಬರ್ಡು ಲೇ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಎಗ್ಗಿನ ಶೆಲ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು. ಅಂದರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಶಿಯಂ ಮೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಎಗ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು. ರೀಸನ್ ಹೇಗೆ? DDTನ ಸಾಯಿಲಿಗೆ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟಿನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ DDT ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತು. DDTಯನ್ನು ಈಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಅಥವಾ DDT ಮೇ ಬಿ ಆ ವಾಟರಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಫಿಶಸ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ DDT ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಫಿಶ್ ಈಟಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ಡಿನ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬರ್ಡ್ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಶಿಯಂ ಮೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ನೋಡಿ, ಈ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ವೈ we have not used, why no need of using chemical pesticides, why we have to use biocontrol ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. What happens if a farmer uses chemical pesticides? One reason you can give, the pesticide, it may enter into food chain. Food chainಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. It may pollute environment. Is it clear? ಎನ್ವೈರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಕ್ಯುಮಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ ಅಕ್ಯುಮಿಲೇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್, ದೇರ್ ಬೈ affect varieties of organisms. Hence we have to stop the use of chemical pesticides. Second thing, along with that, ಇನ್ನೇನು ಆಗ್ಬೋದು? Hope you heard a name of insect, that is dragonfly or beetle, ladybird. Ladybird is the name of beetles. ಬಾಡಿಯ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕಲರಿನ ಮಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಬೀಟಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಫ್ಲೈಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಏರೋಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಫ್ಲೈ, ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಫ್ಲೈಸ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್? ದೀಸ್ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಫ್ಲೈಸ್, ಲೇಡಿ ಬರ್ಡ್, ಬೀಟಲ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಈಟ್ ಆನ್ some other insects like mosquitoes, or they eat on aphids. aphids ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಿನ ಸೆಲ್ ಸ್ಯಾಪನ್ನು ಸಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಗಳು. ಲೈಕ್ ಮಸ್ಕಿಟೋ, ಹೇಗೆ ಮಸ್ಕಿಟೋ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬಾಡಿಯ ಬ್ಲಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಸಕ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೋ, ಸೇಮ್ ವೇ aphids, they suck plant cell sap. So these aphids or mosquitoes are eaten by the ladybirds or dragonflies. Hence dragonfly or ladybird is a predator. Predator ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಈ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಫ್ಲೈ ಮಸ್ಕಿಟೋವನ್ನು ತಿಂತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. If dragonfly eats this mosquito, ಯಾವುದು ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಟರ್, ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಯಾವುದು ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಈಟನ್, ಯಾವುದು ಕಿಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೇ. ಸೊ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಫ್ಲೈ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಸ್ಕಿಟೋ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಪ್ರೇ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಟರ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇದೆ, ಆದರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್. ಮಸ್ಕಿಟೋ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಪನ್ನು ಸಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಎಫಿಡ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೋ ಈ ಮಸ್ಕಿಟೋವನ್ನು ಎಫಿಡ್ಸನ್ನು ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್, if we use those dragonflies, ladybirds like microbes, we can easily control the pest, right? Instead of using pesticide, we can use those beneficial insects. But if we use pesticides, what they do? Those pesticides kill these dragonflies, ladybird like beneficial insects. I am going to tell the pesticides kills beneficial insects. They kills beneficial insects like dragonflies, ladybirds, which actually feed on these pests. So why we have to stop use of chemical pesticides means we can give two reasons. So one is pesticides accumulates in our food chain and also it pollute the environment. The second point may be, if we use pesticides, those pesticides may kill beneficial insects. Those beneficial insects like these dragonflies may responsible for killing the pest like mosquitoes. Hence use of chemicals not only pollute the environment, it also kill beneficial organisms. For these two purposes we have to stop use of chemical pesticides. Is it clear why or what happens if you use chemical fertilizers, chemical pesticides? You have to write these 2 points. For these disadvantages, for the disadvantage of chemical pesticides, we can go for biocontrol. ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಯಾಕೆ ಬಯೋ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾಕೆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್ಸನ್ನು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ರೀಸನ್ಸನ್ನು ಫಸ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಬಯೋ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್. ಬಯೋ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್. Use of microbes for what purpose? To control pest or to control disease causing organisms, right? So any microorganism if we use for controlling, for killing the pest or any disease causing microorganisms, then that microbe, beneficial microbe, is named as biocontrol agent. I have 3 examples for this, for biocontrol agent. So one example is for biocontrol agent, a bacteria named as Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis, shortly BT, capital B, small t. So this is a bacteria, Bacillus thuringiensis. What is the use of this bacteria? The bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, hope you know that any bacteria during unfavorable situations, they produce small spores. In the first chapter of our second PUC, we discussed about encystation and sporulation, right? So the bacteria, to overcome unfavorable condition, they undergo that is encystation. Later on they produce spores. The spores of bacteria, the spores of this Bacillus thuringiensis, when sprayed on plants, we have to take the spore of bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, then we have to mix this spore with water, then we have to spray these spore with water on plants. What is the use? When you spray the spore of Bacillus thuringiensis mixed with water, that spray prevents attack of a kind of pest, especially this prevent or kill caterpillars. Have you heard the caterpillar? So what are caterpillars? Caterpillar, kambali hulu anta karitare. Caterpillar, it is nothing but it is a larvae of butterfly. Larvae of butterfly, we call it as caterpillar. It is one of the voracious pest on the plant. It voraciously feed on the plant leaves. So, in order to prevent the attack of this pest, caterpillar, we can use this Bacillus thuringiensis. What happens? You have to take the spore of Bacillus thuringiensis mixed with water, you sprayed it on a plant. What happens? When the caterpillar eats that plant leaf which contain the spray of Bacillus thuringiensis spore, that bacteria release a protein, a toxin named as, that is, cry-protein. We are going to discuss about this in detail in biotech chapter also. The cry-protein, a crystal protein, it is one of the toxin produced by the bacteria. That toxin which is present in the spore, now ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಸ್ಪೋರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ಆ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥ ಲೀಫನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾಟರ್ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ತಿಂದಿದೆ. ತಿಂದಾಗ ಆ ಲೀಫಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾದ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಸ್ಪೋರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಆ ಸ್ಪೋರಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೈ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ. ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಇನ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್, ಕ್ರೈ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇಯನ್ನು ತಿಂದಿದೆಯೋ ಕ್ಯಾಟರ್ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್, ಅದರ ಗಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ, ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ಕೆನಾಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ, ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್, ಕ್ರೈ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇನ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ become active in gut of caterpillar. When caterpillar feed that spray coated leaf, it enters into the gut of the caterpillar. In the gut of caterpillar, that protein get activated. What it do? Activated cry protein attacks on the intestinal cells and thereby kills the cells of intestine. So hence, once the intestinal cell become perforated, caterpillar cannot survive. So it kills caterpillar by perforating the cells of intestine. How or which material kills the cells of intestine? Cry protein. Where it is present? Cry protein is present in the spore of bacteria in inactive form. When it become active, yavaga active agutte? When that protein enters into the gut of caterpillar, it become active, thereby it kills the bacteria. Understood? So Bacillus thuringiensis, a bacteria, produces spore. That spore mixed with water and sprayed on the plants. When caterpillar feed those plant leaves coated with the spray of bacteria, the bacterial spore contain crystal protein or cry protein in inactive form. When the protein enters into the gut of or alimentary canal of caterpillar, become active and thereby kills the caterpillar. So instead of controlling caterpillar by using pesticide, we can go for this bacteria, Bacillus thuringiensis. It is not harmful to other organisms. It selectively kills caterpillars only. Is it clear? Second example as a biocontrol is a fungus named as trichoderma. Trichoderma, a fungus, it is used to prevent root-borne diseases. If you provide Trichoderma fungus to the plant root, that plant get immunity from various root-borne diseases. ಅಂದರೆ ಥ್ರೂ ರೂಟ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಪ್ಯಾಥೋಜನ್ಸನ್ನು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ ಟ್ರೈಕೋಡರ್ಮಾ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಯೋ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ವಿಚ್ ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ರೂಟ್ borne pathogens. And lastly, other example include a virus named baculovirus. Baculovirus, it is a name of virus which is selectively kills only insect which is a pest. ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಥ್ರೋಪಾಡ್, ಯಾವ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟಿಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟಿಬ್ರೇಟನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಯುಲೋವೈರಸಸ್. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಯುಲೋವೈರಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೋ ಪಾಲಿಹೆಡ್ರೋವೈರಸ್. It is example for baculovirus. Baculovirus is a common term which contain one example, nucleopolyhedrovirus. ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಯುಲೋವೈರಸ್? ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೂ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ plant with these virus, it is not causing any harm to the plant. It is not affecting human also, not affecting mammals also. When insect or any kind of arthropod which is a pest for the plant, if that arthropod feed the plant, immediately the baculovirus present in that plant kills the arthropod. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಿಗೆ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಯುಲೋವೈರಸನ್ನು ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಬೇಕು. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಯುಲೋವೈರಸ್ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ತಿನ್ನತ್ತೋ, ಆರ್ಥ್ರೋಪಾಡ್ ತಿನ್ನತ್ತೋ ಅಥವಾ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ತಿನ್ನತ್ತೋ, ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ವೈರಸ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ದ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಯುಲೋವೈರಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ದೆ ನೀಡ್ ಆರ್ಥ್ರೋಪಾಡ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ಗೇನು ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್. ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ pest only. Hence the baculoviruses are used in IPM. IPM ಅಂದರೆ integrated pest management. ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಪೆಸ್ಟನ್ನು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಗೆ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಈ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗುಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಯುಲೋವೈರಸ್. ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಒನ್ಸ್. First you have to remember what is biocontrol agent. Microbe, use of microbe to control pest as well as disease causing agent is named as biocontrol agent. Why we have to use biocontrol? Why we have to stop use of pesticides? Because two reasons. Chemical pesticides affect the food chain, they pollute environment, and also chemical pesticides cause death of beneficial insects, right? Then example for biocontrol, that is Bacillus thuringiensis. The spores of these bacteria when sprayed on the plant, if caterpillar eat those plant, the protein, the toxin present in those spores kill the bacteria, kill the caterpillar. So idu one example. Trichoderma, a fungus, prevent entry of pathogens through root borne diseases galana avoid madutte. Lastly, baculoviruses. These are a kind of viruses, beneficial viruses, which when infecting the plant, if any pest attacks on the plant, The virus which is present in the plant kills selectively arthropods or any other insect. It is not harmful to the mammals and also human beings. So these are three examples for biocontrol. You may ask questions like this. First one, what is biocontrol? Give examples. You have to write definition, three examples. Or why chemical pesticides are not recommended. Athwa why we have to go for biocontrol agent. ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವುದು? ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ತ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್, ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ biocontrol agents. Let's move on to the last advantage, that is seventh one, microbes as biofertilizers. Microbes as biofertilizers. Here also you have to remember the definition along with examples. The same concept as earlier, as we have to stop use of pesticides. The same way, to enhance the yield, a farmer go for chemical fertilizers. What happens if we use chemical fertilizers? Chemical fertilizer, they may give a good result in short period, but when we goes on adding chemical fertilizers to the soil for a long duration, it may affect it may decrease soil fertility. Hence, it's suggested to avoid use of chemical fertilizers. Then how to improve soil fertility? If you are not using chemical fertilizers, then the alternate method, which is not harmful to the soil, which is benefited to the soil, is biofertilizers. So what are biofertilizers then? Biofertilizers, same way, any microbe, if any microbe which is used to increase soil fertility and also quality, it improves quality of the soil along with fertility, then that is named as biofertilizer. So I'll give 4 examples which you know, I hope. One example for this biofertilizer is a bacteria rhizobium. Bacteria rhizobium, you know that this bacteria, where it is present? It is present in root nodules of legumes. Alva? Leguminous plantina, root nodules alli we find this rhizobium bacteria. What it do? The rhizobium bacteria responsible for fixing atmospheric nitrogen. What it do? It fix atmospheric nitrogen. So to improve soil nitrogen content, instead of using chemical fertilizers, we can go for rhizobium. If we cultivate leguminous plant in our crop land, automatically it yield rhizobium, thereby improves nitrogen level. Hence a microbiome used to increase soil fertility. One good example for biofertilizer is rhizobium. I'll give second example of bacteria again. Azotobacter and azospirillum. Remember, azotobacter and azospirillum, these are free living bacteria. Don't confuse rhizobium. What it is actually? It is symbiotic bacteria. Symbiotic bacteria, whereas azotobacter, azospirillum are free living bacteria. Remember, both are bacteria. Difference is, one is symbiotic it must and should dependent on leguminous plant root, whereas these two, they are entirely independent, free living. So these two bacteria, what they do? They also involving in nitrogen fixation, right? So category same, both are bacteria, function same, both involve in nitrogen fixation. The difference is Rhizobium is symbiotic and Azotobacter, Azospirillum are free living bacteria, soil bacteria. So this is two example from bacteria. Remember, microbe which increase soil fertility not only contain bacteria, these may be bacteria, they may be fungi, or they may be cyanobacteria also, blue-green algae also, all helpful in increasing soil fertility. So next, let us move on to third example used as biofertilizer. So that is a fungus, glomus fungi. This fungi, glomus fungi, establish mycorrhiza with plant root. So what is mycorrhiza actually? Mycorrhiza, association of fungus with plant roots. This mycorrhiza of glomus fungi, andre fungi with plant root enide, has 4 advantages. Remember, this fungi association with plant root has 4 advantages. So one is it improve soil fertility, of course, hence it is a biofertilizer, and also it improve water quality. So I am explaining use of glomus fungi or use of mycorrhiza of glomus fungi to a plant. It improve soil fertility, also water quality. Yelli ee fungus idyo aa plant galige sufficient agi water sikta irutte. Second thing is it helps in absorption of phosphorus. They absorb phosphorus from soil. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜು, ಸಾಯಿಲಿಂದ ಫಾಸ್ಫರಸನ್ನು ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದೇ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಟು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್. ಸಾಯಿಲಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಫಾಸ್ಫರಸನ್ನು ಎಫಿಷಿಯೆಂಟಾಗಿ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ರೂಟ್ ಬಾರ್ನ್ ಡಿಸೀಸಸ್. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಿನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ರೂಟ್ ಬಾರ್ನ್ ಪ್ಯಾಥೋಜನ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್. ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದೀಸ್ ದ ಫಂಗಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಡಿಸೀಸನ್ನು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಫಾಸ್ಫರಸನ್ನು ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಸಫರ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡ್ರಾಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಅನ್ಫೇವರಬಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್, ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಸಫರ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೈ ಸೆಲಿನಿಟಿ, ಸಲೈನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್, ಎಕ್ಸಸಿವ್ ಸಲೈನ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, ಡ್ರಾಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ದಿ ಫಂಗಸ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ 4 advantages of fungus to a plant. The mycorrhiza association of glomus fungi with plant root has 4 advantages. It improves soil fertility, water quality, also absorption of phosphorus from soil and transfer that phosphorus to a plant. It also prevent attack of root-borne pathogens to a plant, and also it helps to overcome unfavorable conditions like drought, saline, etc. thereby helps in growth of a plant. So idu microbe like fungus used as a biofertilizer. And the last example for biofertilizer is cyanobacteria. cyanobacteria. I'll give 3 examples here. One is nostoc, anabina and oscillatoria. I repeat, the bacteria rhizobium ಹೇಳಿದೆ, azotobacter azospirillum ಹೇಳಿದೆ. Now I am telling cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria like blue-green algae, like nostoc, anabina, oscillatoria and other examples. What they do? These cyanobacteria have 2 advantages again. So what they do? They helps in nitrogen fixation. One thing, like bacteria, they also helps in nitrogen fixation. Along with that, they add organic matter. They add organic matter to soil. ಇದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? What is the meaning of this addition of organic matter? ಈ cyanobacteria, if they are living, when they are living, they helps in nitrogen fixation. When they die, their dead remains, their dead body become a manure. ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮಿನ ಡೆಡ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ, ಫರ್ಟೈಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಡಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯೋದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಸೈನೋಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಲೈಕ್ ನೋಸ್ಟಾಕ್, ಅನಾಬಿನಾ, ಆಸಿಲೇಟೋರಿಯಾ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತವೆ. ಅದು ಡೆತ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ದೇ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ ದೇ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯೂರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. Hence, these are all named as biofertilizers. I repeat the concept once. What are biofertilizers? They are microbes like bacteria, fungi, cyanobacteria, which helps to increase the soil fertility or quality, are named as biofertilizers. You have to explain 4 examples. One is rhizobium associated with root nodules of leguminous plant, helps in nitrogen fixation. Second one, azotobacter azospirillum, a free living bacteria responsible for fixing nitrogen. Third, glomus fungi associated with plant root as a mycorrhiza, has 4 advantages. You have to explain all 4. Lastly, fourth one, cyanobacteria like anabina, nostoc, oscillatoria helps to improve soil fertility by nitrogen fixation, and also they add organic matter to the soil. So this is about microbes as a biofertilizer. With this, I'll wind up with the use of microbes, that is the chapter microbes in human welfare. You have to remember microbes in household product, microbes in industries, microbes in chemical, enzyme, bioactive production, microbes in sewage water treatment, microbes in biogas production, microbes as biocontrol agents, and lastly microbes as biofertilizers. From this chapter, you may expect minimum of 5 mark. 1 5 mark compulsorily. You may ask 1 mark question also.